that the idea and the slogan of economic freedom in our lifetime was muted by the first General Council of the ANC Youth League that was held in Midrand. And the ANC followed and said that the second transition and following the second century of the ANC, the most important task is economic freedom. And others went to form a political organization and they call it economic freedom. But that economic freedom was muted by the ANC Youth League. Comrades, the deepening crisis of youth unemployment requires us to build an economic model that places young people at the center across spectrum. Young people should not merely be recipients of such interventions, but should play a central role as its architects and midwives. They should lead the efforts to build a new economy where young people are on the driving seat. Mineral beneficiation, technology revolution that includes artificial intelligence, services, and many more. Young people must lead this economic revolution. This was partly the essence of the integrated youth development strategy, wherein youth development is not an afterthought, but an integral program of development at all levels. The ANC's 54th ANC National Conference resolved that the Youth League needs to diligently and progressively implement its twin tasks. Firstly, it must organize, mobilize, and educate young people behind the vision of the ANC and continue to be a political school for new generations. Secondly, it must champion the interests of young people in the ANC. These tasks mean that the Youth League must take up the challenges facing the young people of South Africa. This must posture the Youth League since 1994 because it recognized the youth were not only integral to the broader society, but were similarly influenced by it. The ANC strategy and tactics define the kind of youth league that can deliver this revolutionary task. Throughout its history, the Youth League has always been at the forefront of shaping public discourse, ideologically, politically, and in terms of championing youth development. We should never downplay the importance of the PYA as a vehicle to mobilize young people and rally them behind the Youth League and resolving the challenges that affect young people in all facets of life. When the ANC is under attack, the ANC Youth League must be the first line of defense without becoming sycophantic. Youth socio-economic marginalization in general and unemployment in particular remains an intractable challenge that requires paradigm shift in the solutions we seek, underpinned by collective action, steeped on urgency to find lasting solutions. This extends to our overall approach to transformation, which is the primary driver of our efforts to improve the lives of our people, including delivery of basic services to our people across all spheres of government. Education remains the cornerstone of our social transformation and should be at the center of our youth development interventions. As Thomas Sankara, a Marxist-Leninist, once stated, the enemies of our people are those who keep them in ignorance. Our country needs educated youth to tackle youth unemployment, find innovative strategies and solutions to support entrepreneurship and ensure job creation. The age of technology provides immense opportunities for the youth. Realization of a better life for all is what the youth of 1976 fought for. However, the vandalizing of public infrastructure, including schools, clinics, and roads during service delivery protests, tells us that we have a lot of work to do in educating our people. The current moment requires us not only to produce a learned cadre, but also a committed one, similar to those nurtured at Solomon Mahlangu Freedom College, the ANC school in Tanzania. Comrades, the newly educated South African cadre will have to take us through the uncharted waters of the 21st century, characterized among other things by the fourth industrial revolution, an era of unprecedented technological revolution, affecting every aspect of our lives, from healthcare, education, social interactions, and the economy. Education without political consciousness can be dangerous. Similarly, as a hired soldier who could fight in any frontier for a living, even if that frontier is counter-revolutionary. We have seen how eloquent young blacks have been deployed to counter the revolution by clothing it with a black skin and a false association with the interest of the masses of our people. As we forge a new path to accelerate the pursuit of economic freedom and social change now and not later, we should deepen our understanding of the national question, which remains a pervasive issue, an integral part in our pursuit for a democratic society. Tribalism, which the ANC fought against from its inception in 1912, also continues to rear its ugly head. As the late Dr. Chuba Okajibo, an intellectual and a philosopher, asserted, if you are emotionally attached to your tribe, religion, or political leaning to the point that the truth and justice become secondary consideration, your education is useless. Your exposure is useless. If you cannot reason beyond petty sentiments, you are a liability to mankind. Our efforts to decisively tackle poverty must not waver. We owe it to those who laid down their lives in the liberation struggle to ensure that our people live dignified lives. The generations that came before us defined their respective missions and carried them out with distinction. It is the task of the current generation to define its mission, execute it diligently in order for future generations to stand on your shoulders, drinking on the well of your wisdom in charting a bright future for generations to come. Ultimately, the struggle was about land. It was about the economy. Hence, the importance of continuously engaging government on progressive economic activities that empower young people so that they grow into adults that own the economy. That is why the Youth League must not tire in engaging government on youth economic empowerment. Youth unemployment will not decrease until the youth become employers. With regard to the blacklisting of students on account of tertiary education fees, we have, as the ANC, made it clear that the National Credit Act regulations constituted a flagrant violation of access to higher education and the role of higher education in employment creation, based on the principle of opening the doors of learning and culture, as advocated by the Freedom Charter. Access to education must not be used as hindrance to future economic opportunities. We therefore welcomed the withdrawal of the regulations and call upon the private sector to continue to contribute to employment of young people and facilitate their entrance into the labor market without the impediments previously imposed by National Credit Act. We are in the same vein, say all laws that are a hindrance to accepting young people into employment must be done away with. Young people must get their experience of employment at the workplace, and that is what we must strive for. Young people must get the experience of employment at the workplace, and that is what is important. We remain emphatic that students should not be blacklisted for a debt owing to educational institutions. One of the most critical tasks of the Youth League is ensuring youth economic participation. This is linked to the twin tasks of the Youth League, which is to champion youth interest. The Youth League must internalize the agenda to renew organization and reposition it as the electoral choice of the masses of our people in the next year's local government elections. This task too, which is to mobilize the youth behind the vision of the ANC. As the ANC will continue to ensure that we win back the trust of our people through evidence, of service delivery and broader national transformation. The immediate task, comrades, is to convene all our councillors in the roll call on Monday, 15 September 2025. In our endeavors to ensure that we provide speedy and effective service delivery to communities. This weekend we will convene a special National Executive Committee meeting that will deliberate on the marching orders that the President will deliver during the roll call. Comrades, this is not a rally of councillors. It is marching orders. If you don't execute the mandate of the ANC, ship out. And that is what is important. And this is what this roll call is all about. Comrades, the Youth League of Colin Malachi must be counted in the ANC as the Youth League that contributed in the renewal agenda of the ANC to undermine factionalism in our structures, to undermine gatekeeping, to ensure that the ANC is free to all. Comrades, that is going to happen with your assistance. Most of you will belong to the structures of the African National Congress. You are members. You participate in the branches of the ANC. As we march on, we must defend the revolution, defend the integrity of the ANC. We must fight corruption. We must not be counted as a statistic. The ANC have resolved on the fight against corruption. We are fighting, we are implementing decisions of the organization against corruption. Gone are the days when a comrade is accused of corruption, we sing along him or her on his way to court. Umntu nomntu makazimele ngenqa yakhe elangeni. Motho le motho a ikemele a le mong. Because ANC never sent us to government to steal. Those who steal, comrades, or who are accused, they must stand on their own. Youth League and all ANC structures, we must never prevaricate against corruption and ill-discipline in our structures. We are very happy, Comrade Colin, about the conduct of your Youth League. And the provincial secretary, was giving me a report, and the deputy president, that the Youth League is on the rise. Comrades, if the Youth League falters on discipline, doomed is the ANC. It means the ANC does not have a future. We all came from the Youth League. Me, yeah, when I come to the Youth League, I'm Secretary General, but I've come home. I walked this path, all the steps, Nabo Zigalal, and everybody else. We were all prepared by the ANC Youth League. And tomorrow, you will also benefit the ANC in terms of leadership from these ranks. And that is why we must follow and understand the foundational cause and internalize it when it comes to political discipline. In the ANC, you cannot be happy about everything, but you don't go around mobilizing negatively. You sit, you fight for what you believe is right where you are. People who do negative things, we know they don't last. You know, I was told when I was coming here that I was going to be booed by my comrades from Mpumalanga because they are not happy about Nkandleni. Let me tell you, I run the ANC. And I belong to a collective and nobody will intimidate me. You can boo me for decisions of the ANC, but angeke ungichunduze. Ngakhethwa econferenceni. I belong to a collective. You cannot use the platform of the ANC to come and boo the ANC Secretary General because you are unhappy about the outcome of a conference in Tanzania. That is wrong. That is an ANC. It is anti-revolution. It is reactionary. You must go backwards and understand where you are. This is a very important platform of young people. And this is a very important platform of the youth. Youth League in the ANC was banned for a long time. And it has come back. Look at how beautiful it is. It has come back. And comrades, this Youth League will never die, ever again. And that is why, when we came into office, our priority was to revive the Youth League. Safika la Youth League ifile inamatas team. Sayivusele. Yanyula ulucha, it elected the youth which are within age. When you look at Colin, you don't have to ask, is he old or young? You can see he's young. He's very young, educated, and smart. And this is the youth of the ANC. And when you look at this NEC, look at them, I'm not patronizing them. You've got people here with masters. You've got people here who come from all walks. But most importantly, they are young. Mina comrades, I left the Youth League when I was 37. The last Youth League president before it collapsed, He was 37 and still fighting to remain. And Colin Malachi is the first president who can at least have 2 terms or even more. I'm not, but we are very proud of a young ANC Youth League. Hi, Youth League yamatheko namathlokazi. Comrades, I don't wish you well because the DP did that. Keep up the faith and lead the youth of the country because the youth want leadership and you are providing it every day. Don't be deterred. From time to time, when we remind you, don't go out of line, don't be deterred. The Youth League will not go to DC under our watch. Because nothing is DC kudala. It will not go to DC. As the SG, I will not take Colin to DC. Bakhona abantu endizawubachutshisa. Not Colin. You know why? Because Colin is allowed to make mistakes. And therefore, whenever I make mistakes, like Halima taught me and Fikile Mbalula, we must sit him down. Mchana ungaika khulu ngapha. But he's the president of the Youth League. And the president of the Youth League briefed me and the SG. They said, you want an early conference. You have agreed to that. So, Colin must go and find money for it. That early conference. But it must first be agreed by the ANC, NEC. And I'm going to report that to the NEC, that the Youth League want an early conference. And we will decide about it. As I conclude, comrades, the moment of now, as I conclude, if you forget everything I've said, the moment of now is to defend the revolution. The moment of now is to defend, is to do what? The moment of now is to defend the revolution. Comrades, we are not in a good space. There are people who talk about succession in the ANC. Ubani nalo nalo. Don't follow people who run succession on WhatsApp groups. Abeko nase branchi na babantu. The discipline of the ANC says you must wait. We must go and win the elections next year. Because if we don't win that election, we don't convince our people that the ANC as their vehicle that they believe in is still alive. The revolution is gone. Iphelile revolution. What leader of the ANC will you be? You will be a leader of the ANC in the opposition. Izabi ambile revolution. If you want any confusion, start with succession discussions. The other day, the Women's League was saying they want a woman president. And we called them and said, not now. At the right moment, if you want a woman president, you can say it. But not now. It will come. That will come. At the right moment when it has to be discussed. No, listen. if you want to derail us, listen. If you want to derail us, get involved in that discussion. And comrades, it is important because most of you belong to the structures of the organization. We will have enough time to agree, to engage, to disagree on the matter of leadership. Let us focus on winning power. And that is going to be led by the ANC Youth League on the ground and all the structures of the organization. And that requires discipline and order in the ANC. You have never seen political parties, even the most disorganized, bangwapana in the streets. It's only us who like to dirty their linen in the public. You have had a good general council, which is going to produce the results. And that's what must be celebrated. And the youth here are going to hear what the Youth League does to fight for them. The withdrawal of this credit regulations by government, it is because of the ANC Youth League. And others are going to say, we started. Don't argue with them, leave them. Continue with what is right and champion the cause of the youth. The ANC Youth League was formed for that. And don't be misdirected. You are on course. You are on course 100%. And there is no other youth league either than this one. We must support SASCO. We must win all the campuses in South Africa. And I was very happy, Comrade Ngudle, the other day when we saw you convening the PYA. Those are real issues. We see the Youth League grappling with matters that affect the youth. Amapiano. I saw Colin at Amapiano. I can't join him any longer. When I go to Amapiano, they say, hey, no baba ka gugilo. Kutiwa ugugo othandayo. But Amapiano else, but it's a culture that has evolved over time. And our association with the popular culture has never been about popularity. It has always been about how we understand the youth of South Africa, who have defied all odds and said, we don't want to be like Americans. We have our own identity. And that is why Kwaito came into being. That is how Amapiano has come into being and has become a global genre in the whole world, coming from South Africa. It's because the youth, said we can rap, we can do anything, but we don't want to be like Americans. That is why they even rap in their own language. Kastonga, Kaspedi, Gestos. Because they are just not mimicking and robots. And that's why you have Maporisa, Kabza the Small, and many others. And today, exporting a global genre coming from South Africa. And that is why the Youth League must understand that particular context. It's very important. So, comrades, I want to thank you for the opportunity of being here. As the ANC, we support this General Council. It's for supporting this particular General Council. And comrades, keep the discipline. You have kept the discipline, and we thank you for that. It means the Youth League is alive, the discipline, and we thank you for that. It means the Youth League is alive, the Youth League is back. And that is the message I'm carrying to the NEC tomorrow. Amandla! Awethu! Uzoyithola kanjani? Uhlele khoneni? Ayeye Colin Malachi ayeye! Ayeye ANC Youth League ayeye! Pata ANC pata! Kokela ANC kokela! Amandla! Roar, young lions, roar! Roar, young lions, roar!